Today we're looking at the political cartoon. A political cartoon is an editorial, only it's image-based. It tends to focus on a current event and often includes satire. So just what is satire? Well, it's a literature device. It's used to ridicule or make fun of something, specifically a weakness or a vice, with the goal to change something. So whatever it's making fun of, that's what it's pointing out. And because that seems to be a very attack-based aim for change, satire focuses on large organizations. Think of Congress. Or society. Think of the average Joe American. A political cartoon is supposed to get to a wide audience. Because it is an image, it can be read by the illiterate and even the young. And while not everyone gets every facet of it, the main idea always carries. Also, political cartoons cover really broad ideas. They're complex, so they break them down into small pieces. This often means that the cartoon uses stereotypes. The cartoonist isn't racist or sexist. They're just simply using stereotypes to get a big idea across in the quickest way possible. Political cartoons are also very heavy on symbolism, because a symbol can carry a lot of weight and meaning behind it. If you've forgotten what a symbol is, that's an item that stands for itself and an abstract idea or concept. Check out Uncle Sam here. We know that he's a guy in a hat, but he also stands for something larger than himself, America, specifically the government. So Uncle Sam has been used in regard to taxes and, in this original poster from World War II, the draft. So when you look at a political cartoon, you need to break it down. You need to not only look at the image, but the words and each piece. Now this is the very first American political cartoon put out by Benjamin Franklin. And while we've probably seen it before, it's good to be able to break it down to make sure we get all the parts. An easy way to do this is to create a grid by imagining there's lines through the image. Now you can focus on each individual square without being overwhelmed. Another important thing to know, specifically used by photographers, is the idea of a hotspot. If we were to draw these imaginary lines, at every intersection of the line, an important part of the image or the word is often there. It doesn't always work, and it's not always just the intersection. It can kind of be a zone. It's where our human eye drifts to automatically. So putting images of important pieces on this hotspot could help show you what the main idea of a political cartoon is. So here we have a World War II cartoon by Dr. Seuss. You gotta love Dr. Seuss. So what do you see? Draw those imaginary grid lines. And now look in your divides. Take a moment and examine each minor square. If I start at the top left, I see white space. In the middle, I'm starting to see the top of an ostrich and a sign, as in the far right. So let's take a second and read the sign. Get your ostrich bonnet here. Relieves Hitler headache. Forget the terrible news you've read. Your mind's at ease with an ostrich head. Bindi Ostrich Service, Inc. Now let's go down to the middle. We see a man wearing an ostrich head standing next to the sign. He has a plethora of ostrich heads, and he's putting one on a man's head. Now if we go to the bottom of the image, we see the line of men waiting to get their ostrich head, and on the opposite side we see a line of people wearing said ostrich heads, and their heads are in the sand. Now look below that and check out the language. We always were suckers for ridiculous hats. Now I've broken this down into parts, and now we need to see what we can do with it. Check out the next video in this lesson to see a soapstone about this image.